optimism ahead of competitive action tomorrow here in Indonesia. Scott Redding crossing line, first flying lap of his final stint at 1:35.6, so he's still 1.5 seconds slower than Razgat Lioglu and still outside of those top 10 positions as well.
Yeah, and just looking at the timesheets as well, Toprak's been able to complete 25 laps in this session as well, so good information being gathered there by the Yamaha rider. Most riders in and around 19-20 laps for their mileage in this session.
And his teammate Andrea Locatelli coming on strong in the final minutes of this session as well, as he bids to move up into the top 10. Currently down in 15th place is Andrea Locatelli this afternoon. From Paul Denning talking in terms of a slightly different structure to his Friday and to his weekend, so we'll see how that plays out in the final minutes of FP2. Locatelli coming towards the line here to move P7, new personal best sub 1:35, so that's 7 riders now who've gone into the 1:34s, and Bautista, Alvaro Bautista, might be about to become the first rider to go into the 1:33s if he can hook it up through this final sector, because he's 1/10 of a second better than where Toprak Razgat Lioglu was on his fastest lap at the same point, and he is coming through the final 2 turns now. Jonathan Ray directly in front of him on track as a bit of a reference point, too far away to give him any slipstream advantage or anything like that as Bautista comes to the line.
And for Bautista, he was the fastest rider of all in sectors 2, 3 and 4 on that lap, so he's as close as he gets that ideal lap time as well for the fastest time for the day, and that's impressive stuff from Alvaro.
Well, and a new personal best in sector 1 as well from Bautista on that lap, so making real progress. Alvaro Bautista all in one go. Dropped 3.5 of a second in the first sector of his next lap, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve. We're just half a minute away from the checkered flag falling on Friday's proceedings here in Mandalika, as Jonathan Ray just lets Alvaro Bautista go in front of him, looks over his shoulder. He must have run wide there at turn 8. So Jonathan Ray then leaving Bautista to continue on, but it does look as though Alvaro Bautista is going to be your fastest man in free practice 2 this afternoon, and that rather comes as a surprise because Toprak has been the man to beat for much of today.
Yeah, and for Bautista, really good lap ride at the end of the session to be able to do that. We saw his times as well on his second stint, very consistent. So Alvaro and Ducati doing a really good job here on the opening sessions of the weekend.
As Scott Redding bails on his final lap. Don't know whether that was Axel Bassani that he was, I think he and Bassani were out on the track together. I don't know whether it was frustration with himself or frustration with another rider around him there for Scott Redding.
Well, Bassani's just had his lap time cancelled for exceeding track limits at turn 9. That was the corner before we saw Scott Redding, so he's probably a little bit annoyed at something.
Alvaro Bautista fastest ahead of Toprak Razgat Lioglu and Michael Ruben Rinaldi. A really strong afternoon as far as Ducati are concerned with Xavi.